In times where car segments right from hatchbacks to SUVs are overly crowded, the Maruti Suzuki Ertiga didn't have a direct proper competition until Kia decided to participate. The Triber is still trying hard and the Bolero belongs to a different universe. With close to 35,000 kilometers on the odo, it is time to share some observations with the Ertiga CNG. Which brings me to the question why people buy the Ertiga. I could have gone with a 10-line answer, but the reason is very similar to why people buy the Innova. And you will realize this once you enter the cabin, which will greet you with a lot of space and comfort. Both the front and second row seats are wide enough and nicely cushioned, but if you are coming from a 5-seater SUV from this price segment, then you might feel the second row seat base could have been a bit longer for better thigh support. I mentioned this because this is primarily a people mover that will usually go long distance. Maruti has thought this out well for a family where getting in and out of the Ertiga is really easy. The doors open wide, you don't have to climb up or bend down, you just walk into the cabin for the first and second row. The third row can be reserved for people whom you want to keep distance with. Jokes aside, the third row can be practical for short city rides or better fold it down to open up a big luggage space that will be enough for most of your needs. The CNG tank does comes in between and makes the boot lip high, which can be a problem in case of heavy luggage lifting. The boot also misses out on a luggage light, but leaving that aside, the Ertiga is well equipped. The new updated ZXI and ZXI Plus have got a lot of feature updates, including cruise control for the petrol version. And with every generation of Ertiga, the build quality has gone up, and presently even after doing 35,000 kilometers, there are no rattles present on this vehicle. Which brings me to the engine. The 1.5K series is a robust and reliable engine, but not something that will take your heart, but definitely your mind. The 5-speed gearbox tries to compensate your heart and makes the overall combo extremely practical. Although the Ertiga looks big, it is really easy to drive inside the city and it rarely makes you acknowledge its size except for parking and U-turns. Plus the light steering and clutch reduces your effort if you are regularly driving inside the city. The overall drive feels more like a raced hatchback and not at all like a SUV. But the suspension setup is good and is tuned for comfort. I like the slow speed absorption from this setup, plus the 15-inch Bridgestones do a decent job here. Decent also applies to Ertiga's highway manners. It's no rocket but can do 100 to 120 km per hour all day long. The engine does get a bit rough around and about 3000 RPM, which they have tried solving in the 2022 update. The brakes do a good job and so does the ground clearance, but if you are planning to tackle bad roads and deep potholes with full load, then be careful as the long wheelbase and soft suspension can make the underbody touch down. Also note that the underbody is completely exposed with minimum or no protection. Our last video on fuel efficiency highlighted the frugal consumption of Ertiga in both petrol and CNG mode. CNG will easily give you 20 km per kilo even under heavy highway use, while petrol extracts around 15 km per liter under mixed driving conditions. The problems with CNG have already been discussed in the past video, and that has got to do a very little with the Ertiga as the CNG execution has been excellent from Maruti Suzuki. You hardly feel any lack of power in the CNG mode, and you might only notice it when you switch it back from the petrol mode. And I have even done some hill roads in the CNG mode without much struggle. The Ertiga has always done well in the sales and Maruti has been regular with the updates. However, I still miss a diesel motor here, which justifies its place in a vehicle like this, and chances are thin that we will ever get to see one back. All of this does not make the Ertiga the sharpest knife in the drawer, but something sitting in the Goldilocks zone that will meet the majority demand. So that's it for this video, and I hope you guys have liked it.